Listen, losing weight ain't just about having the right diet and exercise. It's about having the right support system, or as I sometimes say, circle of support. And for me, that is a great doctor. I know, I'm going to keep it real. I know many may not have access to one, but that's why today I'm going to break it down. I am telling you why having a great doctor can make or break your weight fitness journey, and how, if you don't have access to the right one, I'll give you some tips on how to find one, a few tech tips, and help you get you on your way. And also, I'm sharing some stories about me and my doctor, so stick around. All right, let's be honest. Most of us have tried what I call everything under the sun to try to lose weight, including so many different fad diets, weird tea detoxes. I mean, even me, in one of my other videos, I talked about eating raw food for 90 days, but I'm telling you, I almost lost my whole soul in that bathroom that first 2 weeks of eating only raw food. We've tried maybe tea detoxes, following other influencers. How about when we're checking out in a supermarket and there's always that one magazine that has the big pictures of people being, 700 pounds, and then in 60 days they're 120 pounds. We all fall for it. We're looking for the answer. And most of the time we try and try and try, fail and fail and fail, retry, get frustrated. Why? It's because we're guessing. I mean, even for me, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I have tried almost every single diet that came my way. The cabbage soup diet, the lemonade detox that everybody was doing because a famous person was doing it, so we all started doing it. Hot sauce, spicy diet, filling your stomach with these inflatable, I forgot what they were called, but they were like inflatable things. You drink it and make your stomach feel full. They're like jelly material. That was weird. Only Jello, only all meat. I've done it all. And it was in a quest to try. I had good intentions, but it was a quest to try to do the right thing so that I get the right result. But doing it on your own comes with its own challenges, and that constant guessing can chip away at your soul, can chip away at your belief in yourself. Can I do this? Like, what are we doing here? Can I do this? I'm going to talk a lot about my doctor because we have a good relationship. And I've known him for now, we're going on 20 years-ish. And I remember, we always say we grew up together because we both were around the same age when I found him. But I remember when I was doing all these crazy diets, because he was anti-crazy diet, I wouldn't tell him. I wouldn't tell him nothing. I wouldn't tell him a thing. I would not. But I would also go on these offline diets because one of these coupon that groups buy offers, discounts and deals to go see these like fad doctors that will, explain to you something, give you a crap load of vitamins, all this other stuff, just so you can lose. And I would do that, but I would never, ever tell him that. But those doctors were always trying to, sell me something or give me something. And there was a reason. It was a business plan. And that became my struggle too, thinking that doctors didn't really care. They just wanted to push drugs, push pills, or working in conjunction with the pharmaceutical companies or whatever. There was always a conspiracy with me. So while I had a good doctor or didn't know how good it could be, I did not necessarily tell him everything or wasn't honest with him all the time. And so that led me going through this thing of trial and tribulations and looking for the answer in many different places. So that right there. But, once I learned that studies show that folks who work with a healthcare professional during their fitness goal or their weight loss goal or their healthcare journey, whatever it is, are more successful than those who do not. But that comes with work on both sides. So I just want to make sure that it's not just that you get any doctor, and I'm sure every doctor wants to do a good job, but we're gonna keep it real here. It may not be any doctor, but a doctor that you can build a relationship to do. So, but I always think, but how about you? Have you ever tried some crazy fad diets or hid stuff from your doctor because you didn't want to tell them what you were doing, or you tried to lose weight with were you on the cabbage diet with me? Did you do that green tea detox? Or the one where you ended up being in the bathroom for 20 hours of the day? Were you in there with me? Were you in that circle of support with me? Let me know. Let me know down in the comments. I really want to know. Okay, let's talk about my doctor's role in my weight loss. And it comes with a little story time. I think it's hilarious. But like I said, I've known my doctor for 2 decades, and he's a really good person. He's a good person naturally. Even if he wasn't a doctor, I just think he would be a good person. And his name is, let's just call him Dr. C. But he is a gymnast, a very fit person by trade. He's all about that fit life. So already I'm intimidated by it. And he always talked to me about my weight, where I was holding my weight, what that weight meant for me, for someone with my ethnic background, with my family history, like all these different things. He always did that. And I would always be like, yeah. And I remember each time he was telling me, you can address this yourself. You can do this yourself. That you don't have to have this type 2 diabetes. That you can change all of this. That you don't have to be on insulin for the rest of your life. And I would be like, yeah. So, and I agreed, and sometimes I'm gonna be honest, Dr. C, sometimes he was really hard on me, like really, really hard. And I remember this one time where, if anybody doesn't know, if you have diabetes, they do a few tests throughout the year. And one of those tests is called the hemoglobin A1C. And this is basically a lab test, a pretty, normal lab test for diabetics. But the thing is, you can't really lie on it, because I'm going to tell you that I'm the person that will drink only water for 2 days before my doctor's visit, trying to make sure my labs come out right. But that's between me and you. But so this lab test I would have to go get, and this lab, you really can't lie on it because it gives you like a 90-day average. I'm speaking very layman here for all us regular people. It gives you a 90-day average of what your sugars were for the previous 90 days. So even if I did my little trick where I just drank only water before my appointment, it would not have mattered. So, and I remember I was sitting on the, exam chair table thing, and he has his back to me because he's on the computer. So he's asking me all the catch-up questions, like how has it been over the last quarter? How has whatever? And at this time, I'm definitely 400 pounds in this range, and I'm diabetic. I'm on the insulin. I got all the meds. I got all the problems. And he's looking at his computer. And the thing is, he knows I know, but, it is what it is. So he's looking at his computer and he says, so now he has the labs in front of him on the computer. And so he's looking at it, he goes, so what has your diet been, for the last quarter, the last, 90 days, last time we met, because we had to see each other like every 90 days. And I was like, I just, it's all about salads and occasional fruit, but pretty much salads, lean protein, a lot of vegetables. And he was typing on his computer, typing my notes. He was like, and then he stopped. And he was like, I saw his shoulders go down. I saw he was typing, and all of a sudden his shoulders went down. He was like, vegetables, lean protein. And I was like, well, you know, and then finally he turned, this was a time when he really like let me have it. He turns around and he's like, we just did your weigh-in. I'm looking at your hemoglobin A1C. There's no way you maintain, matter of fact, you gained weight. You did not gain weight on lettuce and lean protein. And your A1C tells me otherwise, that you've been having some other things, not flavored water and lettuce and lean protein. And I was like, oh, Dr. C, but I don't know, maybe I'm retaining water or something. Maybe it was so bad. It was so bad. And I also had lymphedema. Then he starts pressing my leg. And he's like, look at this. Stop. That's what he said to me. Stop. That's where I get that from. When you hear me do that, it's because he does it. He's like, stop. And I was like, oh, why don't you believe me? I was so upset at him. I remember I was like, you know what? Exam over. Give me my script. I'm out of here. And he was like, no, I'm trying to save you. He was like, I got into the business of medicine, of being a doctor, because I wanted to help people live healthy, live longer. He says, I didn't get into it so that, you know, you could just be slowly chipping away at your health. And I was like, what are you trying to say? I'm going to die. It became this whole big dramatic thing. And I was extra dramatic too, because I was in my feelings and I didn't want to admit to what that I was doing to myself, because it feels good to protect myself. And that's what my body wanted to do. It wanted to protect itself. So I just negated everything he said. And that moment in time, I remember I went home and I was like, what is he talking about? I'm changing doctors. I'm never going back to that office again. I'm going to call him in the morning and I'm never going back there again. Total lie. I continued to go back there, and he continued to try to beg me to take care of myself. This is the reason why I say you having a great relationship with a doctor, or a doctor who genuinely cares for your overall well-being, to see you do better in life. He never just talked to me about my health. He also asked me, what are some of my vision and dreams? That's weird. That's not on the ICD-10 code. He asked me what about my vision and dreams. He said, because you being healthy will help you to get there. And I want to see you get there. It helps your mental health. And I was like, what? It's not all scripts in here with you. You know, like that's how I was thinking. But the truth is that it's all about holding each other accountable. But I wasted. This is me confessing, testimony here, all of that. I'm putting it out. I wasted countless years lying to him and avoiding the subject and not being honest with him when I knew clinically he knew the truth. Clinically, he knew the truth. I could have pretended like all I wanted to, but clinically, he had the data, the receipts. He had mad receipts. And I still was holding my own. Like, no, I don't know. All I ate was lettuce. I don't know how I gained 20 pounds. But he never gave up on me, which is another key point. So having a relationship or building a relationship with your doctor, starting off saying, and here's the thing. I remember one of our first appointments when I first met him, I told him, tell me like it is. Do not sugarcoat. Now, I remember I told him that. So when he started doing that, I got in my feelings. So anyway, that's here or there. But either way, he did what I asked him to do. Tell me like it is. Tell me the truth. And by laying that foundation, I think helped over the years. He stayed true to his story. He stayed true to his part he played in my life. He stayed true to trying to encourage me towards doing good things. And I can't fault that. I cannot fault that. But one of the things, and I'm going to put a picture of me and Dr. C, because when I tell you that he would ask me, how many times am I working out? What kind of exercise am I doing? Give me advice about different exercises. I would see him in the gym And he would like, good job. Now try to, now remember I told you he's a gymnast, so he's coming with some legit stuff, but I was just trying to walk on a treadmill. But he was like, no, try to do a little sprint and then walk, sprint and then walk, sprint. And then that became our relationship over time. But here is the thing that I definitely want to be able to share is that after I decided that I'm going to do this, and I'll never forget, I told you this is story time, and Dr. C and I, we have tons of stories, 20 years worth of story, but 15 years of that, 12 years of that, I did what I wasn't doing nothing good. But the rest of it, I got it together. I got it together. So there's light at the end of this tunnel. But when I decided that I'm going to do this for real on that day, and I started to do the raw diet, and I told him what I was going to do. And he gave me some, advice, some things that I should pay attention to, watch out for, because he knew I was going into it, diabetic. And when I started it, I didn't see him. I saw him before I started. I saw him the first week. The first week I started. And then I saw him again in September. So this is June I started, June 1. Saw him that first week with an attitude. Then I saw him again in September, which would have been my 3-month appointment anyway, because that's when I would get my prescriptions refilled, and he would look at my hemoglobin A1C. And I had lost 50 pounds in that 90-day period, June, July, August. So I'm seeing him in September, and I will never forget, because they weigh you. You get weighed by the nurse or an assistant before you actually see the doctor. So they weighed me, and it calculated the 50-pound loss from the last time. So when he came in and he had my lab work, because I had already went and did my labs prior to the appointment, as always. And he was I've never seen somebody be so excited about somebody else's health in my life. Now, he's seen me drop weight, pick up weight, drop weight, pick up weight. But the thing that was beautiful to him was that the weight loss, the conversation we had, the weight loss, and the hemoglobin A1C. And at that September appointment, he told me that he needed to lower or switch my meds or adjust my medication, because I was no longer at the seriously dangerous level. And he was high-fiving me like crazy. He was smiling. So he actually took a longer appointment time to ask me, how did it go? To really get into the details on how I managed to get through those 90 days and what were my challenges and what am I doing towards the future? We talked about it. He told me he was proud of me. And I really, really, really took that to heart. I took that to heart because I remember 90 days later, I had, dropped a total, October, November, December. By the time June to December, I had dropped the first 100 pounds. Still morbidly obese, where we got into about that because he still wrote morbidly obese on my paper. And I said, I dropped 100 pounds. He said, you're still obese. So we got into it about that. But either way, he was proud. So when he saw me in December, which was the same time, same meeting period, because my birthday's in December. I always go see him before my birthday. And I went to see him. I did my hemoglobin A1C. At that point, my hemoglobin A1C had dropped into the normal range for the first time in a decade. Normal range. Then I was able to come off or titrate off the injections, and he moved me to something oral, but it was just like a minimum dose just for whatever precaution. I don't remember what the med was, but either way, I was happy not to be on the insulin. And then he looked like if he could have, he would have chest bumped me because he was so excited. And then he starts saying, you giving me hope. I want to tell your story to other people. Other people need to hear your story. He told me then, other people need to hear your story. I want other patients to know that it's possible, that it can be done, that you can get healthy. And he was so excited. He said, this is why I became a doctor, to educate, to teach, to help people, live healthy lives without being bombarded by tons of medication if possible. Yeah, that brought a whole thug tear to my eye. And I remember him saying that. And then I'm a faith person, so Christian. And so I immediately go to the scripture where it says, make it easy for leaders over you to lead you, because they have to give an account for you. And it wouldn't do me any good if I didn't. How would that help me? So he's my doctor. So in my realm of health, he is a leader figure over me. He's the one with the prescription pad. He's with the ability to clinically diagnose. He is a leader. And I should be making it easier for him to do his job and not making him feel like heavy and burdened because he wants to do good, but he can't get the patients to do better by themselves. I was floored by that. From that moment on, I knew that we were going to be talking differently. Because I wasn't going back. After we had our little beef about him still writing that I was morbidly obese, I went forward to be able to continue to do that. And we still met every 90 days while I was on this weight loss journey. And he still would ask the same question. How are you doing it? What are you doing? Are you incorporating exercise? Are you doing different types of exercise? How about stretching? How about weight exercises? How about lifting weights? We talked about lean body, all of that other stuff. So that became the relationship, that the professional clinical relationship in my circles of support that sustained me and helped motivate me to keep it going and validated what I was doing was the right way to do it. Say it again. That relationship validated what I was doing and that it was the right thing for me to do. Which is important because as we get older, we're not trying to keep doing stuff over and over and over. That's played. So we want to get it right so that we can get to this place where we're going to be enjoying our lives. The reason why we want to be healthy, all those reasons, we want to enjoy it. We want to live it. So we want to get to that. And that became something that became very motivating, and the understanding of why it's important to have your doctor or health professional in your circle of support. Now, I know everybody might not have a fabulous doctor like I have, which I didn't know how fabulous he was in the beginning until I started to do my part. Then I found out how great a doctor he was. So I just want to make that point that, we have to still do our part. A doctor is not everything. They have their talent that they've been given to provide clinical direction and oversight over your health, but that they are not everything. It's a relationship, you and the doctor, okay? Or the health professional or practitioner, whichever way you go. But I understand that some people things are changing. Healthcare is changing. People have a little bit of time to see you and get you out of there, or may not. So you start slowly. But I want to just tell you that in today's day and time, telehealth is a game changer. You can interview doctor after doctor after doctor on telehealth. There are networks of doctors on telehealth that your insurance even supports you to go to. Maybe that would be a better option if you can't find one in your local area. Don't be afraid to use technology. That's why it's there. If you find a fabulous doctor that you can relate to, that you can have that conversation with, then do it. Don't let that be an excuse. Well, it's on the computer. I don't even know. They're still going to send you to the lab. They're still going to send you out for referrals to specialists if you need to. But at least if you have that one that you find that you can talk to, then you can you can explain what's going on with you. You can have that rapport, that relationship, and sometimes maybe it's better. I sat right in the for 10 years. I sat in his exam room, right behind him, in person, and was lying through my teeth about what I was eating and what I. So just because you're physically present, that doesn't mean that you're going to get the quality that you think you have, especially if you're not being honest with that person. And sometimes telehealth, just being, having that separation, provides a safe place for you to be able to tell the truth about what's going on or what you've been doing, and not say you've been eating lettuce when you really were eating Haagen-Dazs butter pecan ice cream every day. And even if you have, insurance, or, maybe you may not have a private assigned doctor. I know some people go to some areas where it's whatever doctor comes based on your insurance. But there are like community health centers that offer, free educational classes. You need to look it up. Google is available to everybody. So look it up. Look for community health centers. Look for community health education centers, health education classes, online webinars, where you'll get a chance to really start to learn how to have a conversation with a healthcare professional. Let me tell you something. This is important because I was raised, I would culturally, and in my community, doctors, let me just say, my grandma used to say, he not going to be practicing on me. That's what they doing, right? Practicing medicine. He not going to be practicing on me. I'm not going to the doctor. That was not the thing. Going to doctors was not a thing. It was not a thing. We would come up with some potion or we'd be stirring up something in that kitchen. When I had a fever, Grandma would put soaked collard green leaves soaked in apple cider vinegar and some garlic all over my body. Horrible. Now I can say the next day I felt better. I don't know if it was the soaked collard green garlic leaves, whole leaves, not cut, whole leaves, like covered my whole body, or the fact that in 24 hours a fever could go away. I don't know. Either way, we wasn't going to the doctor. That's my point. So it's important that we learn. If you come from a community like mine, it's important that we learn how to communicate to a doctor. We learn how to get help from a healthcare profession. We learn not to make the doctor the evil person. The doctor is a human like you and I. The doctor has went to school to learn about how to advise you on your health. It's still a conversation between what you feel is happening in your body to the doctor, who can more likely take that information and apply it to some clinical process that may be happening to offer you some advice that may be helpful. But you won't know until you are able to start communicating with the doctor. That makes sense? What you think? That makes sense to me, but I want to know what you think. I don't know if did you get collard green leaves put all over your body and it wasn't soaked in apple cider vinegar and garlic? Or did you have something else crazy? Tell me. Let me know. There's a community over here. Let's just talk about it. We got to put this stuff out there. We have to heal. We have to heal. We just have to heal. We have to talk about it. Hi, I'm Precious, PMB, Preciosa, and I had collard greens on my body, soaked in vinegar and garlic. Like, just having a doctor is not the only thing you need. It really is about building a great community, having a source of where resources lie, where you can talk to somebody, where you can let loose on somebody. Like I keep saying, when I started that 90-day raw diet, I was evil. Evil. And I needed some time to just talk or not talk. I needed somebody to talk to my husband because I could not talk to him because I was going through my emotions, not able to eat the things I would normally be eating and eat whatever I wanted to eat. So having a community, having a place where you can, feed your mind with good information, people who have gone through it, like this community. I hope that whatever I'm offering you is meant for you to empower you to live your best life. I'm using weight loss, my experience that I went through, which is really a holistic experience. Mind, body, soul, the whole thing. It's all connected. But I don't want anyone to feel alone in this process. I don't want you to think that you out there by yourself, the only one trying to cook up a pot of cabbage. I too did it. So that's why we need community. That's why we need each other. That's what we do as human beings. We commune. And so having more than just the doctor is important, but your whole entire circle of support. Maybe it's a friend who's also doing it. Maybe you have no friends that's doing it, but find you a support group or a group of people online, in person, whoever it is. Just find that sense of community because it helps. It helps. You don't have to do or go through anything alone, tell you the truth. But I just want to let you know that I'm here and this community is here to help you out with that. Yeah. Now tell me, have you ever had a doctor or a good doctor help you through a weight loss journey or through that really, really helped you through some difficult times? Because I want to big up the doctors right now. I'm not anti-doctor, even though I was raised that they practicing and they don't be practicing on me and all this other stuff. I big up doctors because they really, 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 they went to school. Most of the time, they're not making no money to it like 15, 20 years in. So it ain't the money because they come out of there with all the loans. They worked their behinds off and they studied so that we would have valuable resources in our community. So I want to big up the doctors and I want to give the doctors respect here. But so let's share. If there's any good stories you have with the doctor, no matter what the reason was for, they helped you through a health journey. They helped you through. I have so many stories about different doctors. But Dr. C really helped me through this weight loss journey. He was there with me before I got it together, while I got it together. And we're still doing it now for my health and maintenance, and anything that look funny, we get right on it. So that's also a good thing. But let me know. But hopefully this video was helpful to you. I talked about my 90-day raw food diet. So that video is linked here. And check it out if you want, because there's many different ways and many different conversations we're going to have. But the ultimate goal is that we empower each other and ourselves to live our absolute best life. So I appreciate your like, comment, subscribe, share if you like, but please come back and let's keep this community going. Okay, till next time, guys.